Elias is phoning in. Elias, what would you like to say?
I can't believe what I hear about immigrations, etc. I seriously can't believe it. I don't. I even got words to explain how annoyed I am about this. Now, tell me something. Where do people expect like these people to go? You have the West robbing their countries left, right, and centre, and creating political uproar in them. Okay, so these countries. I'll tell you one thing. Let's just say Africa, for example, if Africa could somehow unite and put two fingers up at the West, because really the West needs Africa. Africa don't need the West. The West needs Africa to keep robbing them every day. You know what I mean? All this immigration stuff is completely stupid, absolutely stupid. Instead of talking about the real problems, trying to make the world a fairer, more balanced place, everyone's talking about everything but that, and that's the only thing to cure this problem.
Well, are you arguing for open borders?
You could have open borders or not. Okay, if the world was a lot more balanced place, people can pick and choose to come, because most of these, what you call asylum seekers, will not want to leave where they are. It's because of the mad, crazy world we live in. You have the West moaning about everything, but they're happy to take their wealth.
Well, I'm not sure there's an awful lot of wealth in Sudan.
It doesn't matter. Don't pick out a country or this country or that country. You can only generalise about this. If you want to pick somebody from both sides...
Well, hang on a minute. Don't accuse me of generalising when you spent the last 2 minutes doing exactly the same thing.
No, I'm generalising because the world has just gone so mad.
Every country has a right to control its borders, correct or not?
This is not what I'm on about. It's not about controlling your borders.
But that's what I'm on about, because that's what we're talking about here. That's what I'm on about, and presumably that's why you've rung in.
You are talking about controlling your borders, but if you've got a problem with immigration, stop robbing these countries left, right, and centre. It's not rocket science.
I'm not aware that Britain has ever robbed Albania, for example.
What Britain
and yet a lot of the people that are coming are from Albania.
Hang on. What Britain has done in the past is and it's still going on today, okay? It's not finished. They just play the game in a different way. They hide everything under the carpet, okay? What Britain has done in the past, coming out with these silly remarks about Albania, etc., is just complete stupidness.
No, it's not a silly remark. It's one that you don't happen to agree with because it doesn't suit your argument and you can't argue against it.
Okay, what about all the African countries what Britain has robbed and they're in poverty now then? And the wealth is still coming over to the West. What about those countries then?
That doesn't... Whatever... I mean, I'm not going to agree with you on that anyway, but even if I did agree with you, I still couldn't accept that anybody who wanted to come to this country should be allowed to, because we have to control numbers. And I'm about as wet as a lettuce on immigration as you can get, but even I accept that you have to be able to control your borders. And all of the people that are coming over the channel are coming over the channel from a safe country, i.e. France.
How are you going to control the borders when you're creating havoc? Britain is playing more than their part to create havoc in these countries. You can't have it both ways, can you?
Well, you're boring me now because you keep repeating the same point time and time and time again. I then put an argument against it and you then just repeat the point.
What point did you make? You've just made a silly point.
Well, if that is the level of argument that you want to indulge in, we can finish it here, Elias.
It's not the level of argument.
Your argument seems to be that whatever Britain has done in the past should allow anybody from that country to come to Britain that wants to come. I'm saying that's ridiculous.
Okay, I didn't say that. What Britain has done in the past, okay, and it's not the past, by the way, it's still going on in today's world, okay? Britain has been, let's not go there, but Britain has been banging on about immigration for X amount of years, okay? Now, if any country keeps going about immigration, but they're contributing to create havoc in these countries, poverty, okay?
How is Britain creating havoc in these countries?
The crown jewels don't even belong to them. Where do you start and where do you finish? It's a never-ending story if you want to talk about what...
Well, give me an example.
The BP or Shell, they steal... Their oil is not theirs. They're stealing even the coffee. They're stealing the chocolate. The minerals, all the minerals in Africa is tied up legally to the West.
And they're being paid for, presumably. They're not looting them.
No. What do you mean they're being paid for? They've probably been paid a penny. Nobody. These people.
You keep caveating your remarks by saying probably. I mean, if you haven't got the evidence of this, don't make the point, because it makes you sound like a fool.
No, it doesn't make me sound like a fool. It makes me sound like somebody who's just fed up with the way the world is at the minute. Instead of trying to make the world a fairer place to live in, people are banging about immigration, but carrying on the same way.
We should just let all the people that come over on the boats over the channel. We should just say, "Yep, come on in. You're very welcome," and not do any checks on them at all.
Well, technically, they've got more rights. They've got more rights in Britain than most of the British people, because it's their wealth.
Oh, don't be so pathetic.
It's their wealth what built.
I mean, honestly. Country. This is one of the stupidest calls I think I've had in the last few months, saying that they've got more right to be here than people who live in this country. I mean, seriously, where'd you get that from?
Well, I just told you, their wealth of their country built up this country.
That does not, whatever the truth of that or not, that does not give people an inalienable right to come to this country illegally. And I mean, I asked you at the beginning, are you arguing for open borders? And you said not. Well, you could have fooled me.
It's not a matter of open borders, is it? It's a matter of making the world a fairer...
No, but that's the argument that you're making, even though you don't seem to understand that's the argument that you're making.
No, you listen. It's about making the world a fairer place. Until countries realise this, you tell me then, how do you expect this immigration issue to ever get resolved? It's never going to get resolved. If people live in poverty and etc., they're going to want a better way of living, isn't they?
I don't blame anybody for wanting a better way of living. I think we should actually be quite proud that people want to come to this country. But to pretend that we can allow anybody that wants to come to this country to do so is for the birds. There has to be an immigration system. There has to be a system for legal migration, i.e. if people want to come and work here, they get a work visa. But there also has to be a system for asylum seekers. Now, we have that. It's not working very well. I completely agree with you on that. But just to argue, as you seem to, that anybody should come here that wants to, I'm afraid you're not living in the real world. But thank you for your call, Elias.